So what's up guys, so this is part 3 of the Pixel Challenge. So in this video, the challenge has concluded. Kylie will go through her likes and her dislikes about the Pixel ecosystem and her experience in general, and she will answer that age-old question. Did she switch to the Pixel 8 Pro from her iPhone? So, without further ado, let's get into it. The challenge has now completed. Kylie has done a full 2 weeks on the Pixel ecosystem. So that was the Pixel 8 Pro, that was the Pixel Watch, and that was the Pixel Buds. So we're going to talk a little bit now about your experience, and we are going to talk to see, is she going to go back to her iPhone, or is she going to take my offer and take the Pixel 8 Pro from me? So
that is the question.
Yes. So, how was it?
Well, I've survived.
It was only a phone swap.
I know. I think...
Did you die?
No. I was a little bit, I think, dramatic at the start. That would never be me.
A little bit?
I think it was just such a shock, first of all, that I was doing it, and then to have my phone, just taken away and stuff. Although I did have it for a wee while to get everything copied over and set up and stuff like that, but
I'm not a monster.
no,
I let her have it to get passwords and all that stuff.
He did.
But I was firm, and I did take it from her.
He did.
And you didn't get it back.
No, I didn't.
You really didn't.
No. At first, I must admit, I was very, after that initial setup, which I'm sure you have just seen, I was very, I don't like this, I don't like that. And just,
very much
thrown, really.
Stuck in your ways,
yes, I think I was. And I just needed time to play with it and get used to it. Because one of the first things I had noticed was that the text is very small. Or well, it initially was anyway. And I was like, it's far too small. There's just lots of text. No. But really all I needed to do was just go into the settings and turn, make the text bigger, and that was fine.
That's quite ironic actually, because the text on your iPhone is very, very small.
Well, I don't know. I'm just... I never really noticed, because there was things that Michael was asking me, and he's like, but sure that's what it's like on your iPhone or whatever. And I was like, but it's been that long from I've had my iPhone, I can't remember. It wasn't that long, it was 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
It was 2 weeks. But I did it. After the end of the first week, I said to you, I don't feel ready to give this back yet. I want it to continue on. But apologies, I didn't really pick up the camera as much as I probably should have and documented a lot of things.
You were sick.
I haven't been feeling well. I'm still not feeling great tonight, but we move. But I have made some notes along the way, which I will go through.
You use AirPods Pro, and you also have a set of Beats Studio headphones.
Yeah.
So you have overheads and you have buds. Mm-hmm. Now, I did get you the Pixel Buds Pro.
Yeah.
What did you think about the Pixel Buds Pro?
I used them once. I
bought her a set of Pixel Buds Pro, and she used them once.
The reason being was I didn't really like... They did fit in my ear, but I just felt that they weren't as good of a fit as what my AirPods are, for a start.
Okay.
Second thing is I just felt that the sound quality and noise cancellation, I personally couldn't tell a difference in the settings. I thought both settings sounded the same, and I could still, with the noise cancellation on, I could still hear noises around me. I could still hear him talking, which you can, if you know Michael in real life, yeah, you hear him before you see him. It's not always a bad thing.
No, I suppose that's true.
Yeah. But I just, for sound quality, and thirdly, I'm just that used to the AirPods, and that when you're listening to something or watching something, if you take an AirPod out of your ear, that'll pause what you're listening to or what you're watching. I had taken the buds out of my ear, and the song or whatever it was I was listening to just continued on to play, and I was like, that's a feature about the AirPods that I do love, and I missed that, but I wasn't really listening and using the buds much,
So
if I'm honest, because I wasn't a big fan of them.
Right. And did you delve into the settings of the Pixel Buds to see if you could maybe turn that on, or if it was something that wasn't there?
I went into it, but I couldn't really find anything. Now, whether that's just me, because as I say, I'm not tech savvy really at all, and whether maybe I give it enough time to go through the settings, I don't know. But I wasn't a fan.
Fair enough.
I am sad to say.
What about the Pixel Watch then? So we switched you over. We took your Apple Watch away. We put you onto the Pixel Watch 2.
Yep.
And what was your thoughts on the Pixel Watch?
I liked it.
Okay.
I did really like it, and I liked the face, and that it had, you know, the number of steps that I was doing on the front of the watch. Although now after a few days I was thinking, oh no, maybe this is not good, because I was like, I should be moving more.
So it was shaming you?
It was. Now, as you say, I wasn't well.
You weren't well, to be fair.
So I wasn't really moving probably as much as what I should have been. But no, overall, like, the notifications still come through. You know, I did like the watch. Now,
did you prefer the round watch face to the square face of the Apple Watch? The reason I'm asking that is because I've said for a few years now that I was bored of the square shape of the Apple Watch, and I would love to see a round Apple Watch, until I tried the Pixel Watch, and then I was like, oh no, I don't like that. Because displays are square. So regardless of what you get, if you put something into a round bezel, in below that round bezel is a square screen. So what I found with the Pixel Watch was some of the things and animations and things like that were cut off, if that makes sense, because of the round bezel. I don't know, that's just maybe me. That's maybe me just being a wee bit.
I suppose right enough the way that, you know, when your notifications, when the text all came through, it, you know, it did look, I suppose, a bit different, but I don't have any preference one over the other. But I didn't have any major issues with the watch.
What about the size of the watch?
Yeah,
Did you like it?
I quite like the size of it.
Nah, not a fan.
Is it smaller than?
Nah, it's too small. It's smaller than you've the 44mm Apple Watch, so yeah, it would be smaller.
To be honest, it wasn't something that a lot smaller that I took notice of that. So it's not really. Okay. It would be different for you because you've got the Ultra, so you would notice a big change in, you know, the size of the face and everything. But it wasn't something that was an issue for me. And
what about battery life on the watch?
Battery life, actually, it was grand. I would always have had a habit.
Obviously, you weren't going out and doing walks and stuff because you were sick at the time, but so your battery life, I suppose, would last you a bit longer if you weren't doing those workouts. But
I would tend to, with my Apple Watch anyway, at night, as you know, I would always have docked it at night anyway, regardless of whether it needed charged or not. I always just have a habit of just taking it off and just charging it, even if it still had 50% battery or whatever. But one thing I did like with the charging of the Pixel Watch, it charged really, really quick. Now, whether that's... So it didn't take long to charge at all.
Tiny little battery.
So, but yeah, it didn't. If I had forgot to charge it overnight or whatever, and the next day if it needed charge, it didn't take long at all to just take it off and, you know, charge it. It was charged in no time. So yeah, that I liked that.
So you liked the Pixel Watch?
I did quite like the Pixel.
It was a good experience?
It was. There was nothing major that I was like, no, I hate this or I don't like this. No, it worked well for me.
So moving on then to the Pixel 8 Pro. So let's talk about what you liked. What did you like about the Pixel 8 Pro?
First off, I liked that a lot of the actions and the gestures are pretty much the same or very similar to, I was about to say my iPad, to my iPhone. So it wasn't a drastic change or anything like that. So that was definitely a big help.
I was very kind to you in giving you a Pixel, because if I had to give you a Samsung straight out of the box with the 3-button layout that you've never ever seen or used in your life, I think you would have had a meltdown.
Yeah, I think I would have. And he's said that he, with this challenge, he's surprised that there hasn't been more meltdowns.
No,
So-
it's been tame. I'm kind of disappointed, to be honest.
Although that night that we did set it up now, I wasn't really much, I wasn't holding out much hope that night, I must admit. But
And I sneakily switched you over to the 3 buttons.
we did.
And you weren't really, at first you were like, what is this?
Yeah, at first I was like, no, why would anybody want this? Get this off, change me back.
But then I kind of convinced you to persevere and use it a bit.
Yeah.
And then, which you did.
And I got on okay.
And then you turned it off again. But then while I was working, I got a random message one day, and you had texted me and said, I've turned the three buttons back on.
Just to give it another chance, because I think the running theme of this whole challenge is I was just too quick to write things off. So the buttons then were okay. You know, it was fine. But no, then I did want to go back to
So
my swiping up and stuff.
gestures are 3 buttons.
I think gestures. The only thing I found was with the gestures, especially whenever like I was in Instagram and stuff, and because I would have watched Insta stories an awful lot, so I was finding when I was trying to flick through the people that I watch and stuff, it thought that I was wanting to move away from the page or something like that. So that kind of did frustrate me, which made me then want to turn the buttons back on just to see how I got on with them. Overall, yeah, I did like that the gestures and a lot of the actions and stuff are pretty similar, if not the same.
What else did you like that the Pixel?
I liked that, yes, you can get widgets on the iPhone, are restricted in ever so, slightly, that yes, you can move them onto different pages and stuff, but you can't necessarily put exactly where you want it to be. So I did like being able to move things about, wherever I want it. Granted, now I didn't have an awful lot there, but it was nice having that, flexibility that you could personalise it whatever way you want it.
Nice having the freedom,
Yes.
as a lot of Android fans would say.
Yeah.
Freedom!
So I did quite like that. I really did.
Okay. What else?
I quite like the Google Calendar as much as I did miss our shared calendar. I like the Google Calendar in that.
Our shared calendar's an iCloud calendar, so...
Yeah, but I like the Google Calendar where when I had put things in, like for example, I have a day coming up where I've got a couple of places that I need to be, and I like that in the list view you got a picture of the place that you're going to. I thought that was nice because obviously it's linked with Google Maps, so it showed a picture of the place. So I also liked the call screening because I would get an awful lot of spam callers and just random numbers ringing. So I did like that it screened and said that this is a potential spam call. So I know that I definitely, a lot of times if a number rings me and I don't know who the number is, I don't answer the phone anyway.
Call screening on Google.
I did really like that.
Is really good.
I did really like that.
It's
Now
really good.
that
You can actually have it take a call for you and tell the person that I am Google call screening. We're screening your call to see if you're actually a person. It's really cool.
I did like that. I liked the Google Assistant. It was nice to be able to use the voice dictation and ask to, set a timer for however long, because we don't often really use Siri an awful lot because a lot of the time you have to repeat yourself.
She's friggin' useless.
Because she sometimes doesn't really pick up the accent or pick up that you're wanting something, whereas Google was very on the ball.
I would agree. There's times where unless you speak very slowly and clearly like this, Siri will not understand what you are saying.
And if you're from Northern Ireland, you don't speak slow like that.
And if you say anything with a little bit of a twang, it'll just go, no. I did not understand what you said. Shut up. If you've seen any of my Pixel reviews, I will have demonstrated taking voice notes and stuff with it, but it is very, it's very, very good, and I very very seldom. Recently, I was doing my review for my Pixel 8 Pro, and I was doing a test voice note with it, and I telling it what I wanted it to say, and then in the middle of it all, it was like it misheard a word, and I said kick ass, and it wrote quick ass, and then I was like, But I carried on with the voice note, and as it transcribed what I was saying, it went back and went, oh, he didn't say quick, he said kick, and it changed it.
Wow.
That's awesome. Like, that's really good.
Yeah, no, I did. I like the Google Assistant. There's two parts to this, because there's parts that I do like about this and other parts that I don't. Notifications. I liked that because at the start, the very first night, or even the next day, the phone I kept hearing these beeps, and I couldn't obviously see, and I was like, what the is it beeping for? I don't know. You know, I was just, you know, so, but then obviously as I got more used to the phone, I realised that it was putting, wee symbols up beside where the clock is to let you know where you have notifications for. So once I figured that out, obviously, then I did like that, because it did let me know, you know, that I had notifications obviously to look for, rather than just beep at me without telling me what like it was for.
At the top of Android, where it does give you like a little icon of where your notifications have come from. Yeah. I do like that.
Yeah. Also, the camera quality. I didn't take an awful lot of photos, but the photos that I did take, I thought were really good. The majority of our photos on both our phones is Bear. Like, that's, you know, a given.
It's like, Bear, and he's like, what? And then you see him rolling his eyes, he's like, oh.
He just knows,
You wouldn't really be one for taking a lot of video. You'd be more photos.
More photos.
But again, like for me personally, out of the top 3 flagship phones, Samsung, Google, and the iPhone, I would always say that the Pixel takes the best point and shoot photos. Like if you just click, 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 you'll knock it better. So what didn't you like?
As a briefly,
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued because while I've been that sort of throughout this challenge, I've been like, well, how are you getting on? And she's been like, yeah, fine. I haven't actually asked her in depth what she does or doesn't like. So this is the first time I'm hearing what she does or doesn't like. So
well, as I kind of had touched on at first, I had said about the text and being really small and there being lots of it. I think once I turned up the size, it was fine. However, there's lots of prompts and lots of, to me, a lot of the time it feels very texty. Like it just feels like just lots of, you know, words and very like not spaced out, or you know, it's just very. Do you know what I mean?
Well, like prompting you for things. Like read me's.
Well, yes.
You know, like read this before you proceed, type of thing.
Like that too.
Right.
I find like everything that you try to sort of do, there's a wee thing that will come up at the bottom, just be like, oh, you know, and it's just like, just let me at it. Just, you know.
Pixel OS, I do get what you mean. You sort of.
I'm not very good with my words.
Like you go into the menu and it's, you know, it's very monotone and it's very, you know, 2 colors. You're like a black and white more or less. You know, I understand what you're saying. Whereas the iPhone, you do have sort of like colored icons in your settings and stuff. I do get what you're saying. Because
whenever you're looking for something specific, it's harder whenever everything's just black and white and just text. You know, you have to properly, you know, read through a lot of stuff. Whereas I find on the iPhone, it's just easier to read and a bit more user-friendly, let's just say. One of the big things that I didn't like, I quite like my screen to be bright. Like there's times Michael will pick up my phone, and he'll be like, "Whoa!" and he
especially
turns
at
it
night.
down.
Like she'll say to me, "Oh, here, look at this," and she'll hand me her phone, and then you're going, "Frickin' heck!" And you have to go in and you turn the brightness down because it's blinding you.
Well, it's not necessarily blinding, but
no, it is.
What I found was
2000 nits of peak brightness in your face. It's like, no.
It kept turning the brightness down, which did annoy me. And I did have to keep going in and turning the brightness up. And also with that, what I found often, the phone at times felt quite warm, which then sort of scared me a wee bit because I was like, oh, maybe I should just put it down, or
Yeah.
So
When your phone is too warm, put it down.
because I was testing a game one night, I was just playing, and I wasn't playing really for that long, to be honest. And it did start to feel very warm, and I thought, oh gosh, I need, I better stop and put this down. Which actually, I can remember that night thinking that yes, I know a lot of games and stuff have adverts and stuff that come out at you. No, whether it's just because I was maybe just sensitive anyway, I don't know. But there seemed to be an awful lot of adverts come up more throughout the game than what I really would have noticed on my iPhone. I don't know, maybe that's not the case, but I just felt that there was more adverts and things. While there's some things that I do like about notifications, some things that if you got a notification that had come through, like say from an email or something, and if I went into my Gmail app, sometimes that notification wouldn't actually go away, even though I've already been in to Gmail and read the email and everything. I would still have to go and clear that notification away. You just would assume that once you go into an app or whatever, that would clear the notification, but it doesn't.
I've had issues with certain apps where it'll still show on the icon that there's a notification, even though you've already went in and seen it, and then it won't go away until you clear it away in the notification center. And it's like, whereas on iOS, you go into an app and the notification clears.
It goes, it just leaves.
So yeah, I get you with that. That annoys me.
And silent notifications, obviously some came through that didn't beep and didn't alert you because obviously it was silent. Therefore it meant that there were some that I missed, and I didn't know why they were a silent notification. So just things like that. And also I did miss the action button on the side for put it onto silent. I did miss that.
That's very underrated, I actually have a friend, and if he's watching this, leave a comment down below, but he actually switched to an iPhone for the silent button.
It's handy. It is really handy, especially if you quickly need to put your phone into silent or whatever. It's literally just the click of a button. I found that with certain apps, there were a few glitches in that the likes of the scroll I found was a bit laggy. Like you could maybe touch it and like the slightest touch and it would just go way up. With Instagram, I found it that because I watch a lot of Insta stories, and I found that as it was playing along the stories, some of them it wouldn't automatically play, it was just pause. So I would have to go on to the next story and then go back for that to play. It wasn't a seamless viewing experience. Facebook also as well, I found that if I was going into an article or whatever or an external link, one page in particular, I can't remember which page it was, but I went then to click onto their website, it wasn't showing me the full page. There was text that was going more over, and I kept trying to bring it over to see the full page, and it wasn't displaying properly for me. Things like that with apps, certain apps and things, it wasn't maybe the best.
I'm not a big Facebook user, but Instagram and Twitter for me on Android is very hit or miss. Sometimes it can be smooth and buttery, and sometimes it'll just be rubbish.
With the transfer process of moving my stuff on to the Pixel, on the whole, I think it moved a lot of it over, but when I went in and further looked at my photos and stuff, they were there, but it was like the wrong date or of when they were taken or things like that. It wasn't ever a major issue, but it just didn't seem to have been a seamless transfer. I do have an awful lot of photos and an awful lot of stuff on my phone.
And Willy Wonka has a little bit of chocolate.
Another thing that I found with the transfer notes, I would use the notes app an awful lot on my phone. It looked as if it had transferred all the notes over, but some of them, whenever you went into them, title of the note was there, but the actual body of the text just wasn't there. And I would use notes quite a lot, and I did try to use notes on the Pixel. And I had found, because a lot of the time would write lists and things, and
Kylie loves a list.
and bullet points and stuff, and I couldn't find, now whether it is there and I just didn't see it or didn't look hard enough, I couldn't find where to just make a bullet point list. I don't think, other than there wasn't really anything major that I didn't like. I think I just, at the start, I panicked because obviously I use my phone for paying, for paying for things, and like when I go to Tesco's and stuff, my club card's on my phone because I have to do the scan as you shop. I can't go in and not use scan as you shop. There's just no.
In fairness, smartphones now, literally, everybody copies each other so much now that was one thing when we were doing the initial setting up, you were getting frustrated because, you know, it was just maybe not the same, but it was slightly different, and then you were sort of getting frustrated. And the one thing I do remember was you were using the Pixel. This was like a couple of days in. You were using the Pixel, and you were like, oh. And I goes, what's wrong? And she says, how do you do a screenshot on this thing?
I know!
Right? And I went, and I just calmly said to her, how do you do a screenshot on your iPhone? And she went, volume and lock. And I went, have you tried that?
But it confused me, you see, because there's only buttons on the one side. There wasn't buttons on both sides. So I was like, no, well, you know. So just obviously straight away, drama queen, took thick and was like, how do you do this?
So when I just said, how do you do it on your iPhone? She sort of went, And next minute, okay. And that was the sort of thing that, like, there was the odd wee huff and puff that we were getting there. And it was like, how do you do it on your iPhone?
Yeah.
It's not massively different.
It's not massively different.
It's just maybe a little bit different, but it's the same but different. There's one more thing that I want to address that I noticed over the 2 weeks, and I haven't said anything to you about it, but I'm going to ask you now.
Oh gosh.
Right? You charge your iPhone at night. I gave you a Nomad 3-in-1 charger.
Yes.
For your phone, your watch, and your AirPods. You never used it, even though I gave you a MagSafe case for your Pixel.
Yeah.
You never once used it.
No.
And you always plugged the Pixel in.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why?
My thing was, there's no MagSafe on the phone, and yes, there is on the case, but I just was worried having using the phone and no one getting warm. Even though obviously a phone will get warm when it's charging as well, I just thought, no, I'll just plug the cable in and just let it charge by the cable, because I was just worried about the heat and in case something would happen during the night and that it would go on fire or whatever. I just overthink far too much. And
It would go on fire?
Well, no, it probably wouldn't. It's just my brain telling me that it might go on fire if it gets too warm.
It's not a Samsung, calm down.
Yes, I know. But plug it in with the cable and
So I
that's
tried to
easier.
minimise, I tried to give you back as much as you were losing, and you didn't even use it.
No.
Even though you used the MagSafe in the car.
Yes, it's handy for the car, because as soon as I get into the car, I had thought, it's a good job that has MagSafe, because I didn't know what I was going to do with with the Pixel if I didn't have MagSafe, because obviously I have the stand in the car. That's where that came from. I just thought I'll just plug it in.
Okay. Are you back on your iPhone?
I am.
Would you use one again?
Yes, I would.
Would you switch?
I don't think so. I think I'm too far into the Apple ecosystem, and
Preach.
I think, and if it was the first smartphone or whatever that I was using, or one of the first anyway, that I didn't have the issue of having a lot of data or, you know, things to put onto the phone.
You're just too heavily invested now.
I'm too heavily invested in Apple. There was nothing wrong with the Pixel really at all. I'm just too much into obviously Apple now. I've been using it for however many years. And
then in our house as well, I have an iPhone, you have an iPhone, we both have iPads, we both have Apple Watches,
MacBook.
and we have 4 Apple TVs in the house.
Yeah.
So, like, when you go in and you watch TV and then your TV appears on your lock screen and you can just quickly control, like, your volume and stuff like that, it's so underrated.
Yeah.
It is so good.
yeah.
It's hard to move away from it.
It is. There was nothing that I couldn't do. My personal preference is that the iPhone just does it better. That's my preference.
Shots fired!
No, I just think it's more, in terms of especially me, because I'm not techie, as you know, an iPhone's more user-friendly, in my opinion. It's just easier to find things, easier to navigate. Yes, you don't get the freedom that you have with moving your icons and whatever to where you want to be, but on the grand scheme of things, how often are you going to be moving things about?
Girls dropping truth bombs
You know, like, and I must admit, like, I actually, when I had to hand the Pixel back, I was hesitant
Yeah, she was.
to hand it back.
Which speaks volumes,
Which
to be
does,
honest,
it
because
really does.
on the very first night when we set it up, you were very much
A week and that's it.
You were very much like, I don't even think I can do a week.
Yeah.
When I went in to give her that out, she actually said,
No.
no, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah,
I was
just
like,
leave me a
fair
minute,
play,
yeah.
fair play.
I think I've given it a good enough try.
Well, for your first time on Android, I think you did.
I did, yeah.
I think you did.
Yeah, and I coped a lot better than I thought I was going to. I really did.
Fair enough. I'm really proud that you went into it with an open mind, because I'll be honest, I didn't expect you to. I expected you to throw a hissy fit and
Be like, nope.
give me my
nope.
iPhone back, and credit to you, you didn't do that.
And-
you were
and
a
stuck
good
with it.
sport, so we'll put it there. Happy days. Yeah, well maybe do another challenge soon. Maybe up the
My
app
channel.
for the challenge.
I have to get
Oh, I'm in.
I have to get payback. Although this wasn't an overall bad experience, so I can't be too
Payback.
harsh on
I'm not
them.
wearing dresses and stuff. You can get
No.
frigged.
No.
So if you haven't already, I'll leave you a link in the description down below to Kylie's channel. If you haven't checked it out, drop on over there, give her a sub, watch some more videos, give her a like, and yeah, stay tuned. So there it is, guys. What did you guys think of this series of videos and this challenge? Let me know in the comments down below. Would you like to see more of this type of content? If you would, let me know in the comments down below. As it stands, I am currently looking for an Android user who is Android and has never used an iPhone to do the reverse of this challenge. So if that's something you'd like to see, let me know in the comments down below and I will make it happen, because yeah, I had a lot of fun with this challenge and so did Kylie, but I want to branch out and I want to get somebody else. So let me know in the comments down below and we'll make it happen. So that about wraps it up for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, smash that like button for me. Don't forget to click that subscribe and ring that little bell to be notified of new videos just like this one. I'm going to go, but keep it locked on the channel. If you want some more down-to-earth tech review and accessory videos, I've got you covered. And until the next one, I'll catch you later.